Hey, it's Doug Giles. Welcome to Warriors and Wildmen. Rich, good Lord, man, look at you. You groomed up. You got a tan from your Mexico cruise and vacation with Miss Annie. And hey, man, welcome back. We got a dicey topic today, big dog. How not to get molested, raped, or creeped on by frickin' Matt Lauer, Harvey Weinstein, or for the boys, Kevin Spacey.
Hey, watch out.
Hey, we're going to go there,
Hey.
man. We're going to do it.
Hey, Doug, good to see you. I see you're growing a nice beard there. You're getting ready for winter. You're looking cool, very mountain manish. Like it. Yeah, but speaking on this topic, just recently, Annie was at Walmart, and this is about 3 weeks ago. And as she was walking out of Walmart, she saw a guy, tall, a little bit over 6 foot, real skinny guy, all tatted down, walk by, and he was really looking at her, which she's beautiful. You know, guys look at her. She's used to that.
Yeah, you want the wife that people look at instead of the, you know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so she walks by, she's doing her thing, you know. Well, she notices that guy coming back around. And so she's looking like, what is that guy doing? And then she doesn't see him. And then when she's walking, she looks down and sees his shadow behind her.
What?
And she like cringes and turns around, and he turns around and walks away real fast. And she was like, whoa, what happened? And she was really upset. And she started walking to the car real fast. And the guy in the parking lot came up to her and said, hey, ma'am, excuse me. He said, I work for Walmart security. I saw what happened. That guy just came and took a picture up the back of your dress.
Up the back or of the back?
Up the back. From behind, stuck his camera under her dress. And Annie was so upset, like she would call me, and I'm glad I wasn't there, because we'd be having this conversation through some bars right now, because I'd be handling business.
Here's my problem. You know, aside from the obvious, is how come the dipstick Walmart guy didn't get the guy's plate number?
Yeah, the guy ran back across the parking lot. The Walmart guy was actually not on duty. He wasn't working. And he was walking out of the parking lot, and he saw it from across the parking lot, and he came running over, and the guy was already gone. Well, he's not going to be a superhero, you know. And
man,
you know what,
Rich?
He did get the guy's plate number.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, but better than that, we're looking at the tattoo shops, trying to find them ourselves, because we're faster than the law.
Yeah, and you got some buddies that could, you know, sort him out.
I have some friends that need a tattoo. They like giving them too, with rings on.
All right, so we're talking about Rich, how all girls out there can avoid the Matt Lauers, the homunculus, frickin' Crisco sweating grosses, Harvey Weinstein. Oh God.
Yep.
Can you imagine? And Kevin Spacey with his Rico Suave savoir-faire air about him. How we can avoid, or how the girls can avoid, and how vulnerable guys can avoid this kind of crap happening, because apparently people have been taking notes watching Mad Men. Yeah, the TV show on Netflix, Mad Men. They've been taking notes about that. And apparently, Rich, this also seems like it's a disease of those who champion feminists. I'm talking about left-leaning men. They seem like they don't have, too much respect for the ladies. I know it's not part and parcel of the problem that is, part of my conservative world. Seems like guys are pretty legit until they get into Washington and turn into creepers. However, here's, and by the way, Washington is Hollywood for ugly people. Have you noticed?
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Oh, we're going to make it a t-shirt, man.
It's a great shirt.
Yeah, matter of fact, Zeke, you ought to edit that before some asshole steals my t-shirt idea. So anyway, there is a threat out there. There are girls out there that are feeling vulnerable. They don't want this to happen to them, and they don't want to see some guy's penis. Oh, by the way, guys who are newly into power or position, nobody wants to see your penis. Okay, Rich, would you agree with that?
I agree with that.
With that, we got to bring on our guest. Let me bring up, before she says anything, let me properly introduce her. This is for the uninitiated. Our guest is Regis Giles. She began training at the Valenti Brothers Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Miami, one of the premier, self-defense schools on the planet. In 2009, she started this at 9 years old, and fast forward, I think 15 years later, she became the first female black belt in 2014. Regis Giles is internet and media personality, creator, purveyor of Girls Just Want to Have Guns. Rich, she's been featured in Elle magazine, which is not a big fan of conservative women. Variety magazine, another kind of contrarian to those conservative lassies out there. The Daily Mail, BBC, ABC, CNN, CBS Miami, and Fox News several times. Her goal is to see people take their destinies into their own hands with a simple knowledge of physical self-defense, which she believes will drop in violent crimes and having weird dudes like Harvey Weinstein creep on her. Regis, welcome to Warriors and Wildmen.
Hi, gents. First of all, I want to say Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa. Hey, Reed, you know this. You're my daughter for those people who don't know that fact. And, we celebrate Festivus. Festivus for the rest of us. We begin the day with airing grievances.
Yeah.
We sit around the table, Rich. It's pretty interesting. Maybe you and Annie could start this with y'all's family and extended family. We begin with airing of grievances, and then we move into, after everybody airs their grievances, then we move into the feats of strength.
Yep.
So what do you
I
think?
like that.
It sounds inviting.
That sounds cool. Can we include fire?
It kind
Lots
of
of fire.
it's like a year-end purge of all the bitterness, all the rancor, all the malice. You just you get it out at the dinner table.
I have a great holiday that I want to implement. Regis, you could probably help out with this. The slap somebody in the face day. It's one day you get to slap one person in the face, not two, one. I think the closer we get to that day, a lot of people are going to start behaving. And I think a lot of people are going to be all the other people's one person. So somebody's not going to get slapped. The people who need it are going to get slapped and slapped and slapped and slapped and slapped and slapped. And hopefully it'll slap some sense into them so that the next year it won't be them. What do you think, Regis? You like that?
I like that idea, especially those who like to verbally sexually harass women. I think a good slap in the face would kind of knock some sense into them. There's a big discussion, like, mentally speaking, are women prepared to defend themselves? Because there's been the old societies, like, sit there, take the abuse, and survive the violent encounter when it comes to rape. Now, today's modern feminist says, let's teach men not to rape. And the issue with both of those problems are that it's not addressing the actual physical encounter when that happens.
Right.
Because, no shit, Sherlock, you're not supposed to rape someone or sexually harass. Someone who violently attacks you has something mentally wrong with them.
Yeah.
And Exodus 22 verse 2, if a thief is caught breaking in at night and is struck a fatal blow, the defender is not guilty of bloodshed. If you decide to physically defend yourself, and that comes to the death of that jackass who decided to infringe on your pursuit of life and happiness, then good. You are justified in that. And
Here's something that I was talking with Rich. I don't know if it was in our warm up for this podcast or actually after it started. Rich, I'm not losing my mind, just my memory. But with all these hashtag campaigns, which again, I'm all for the women, showing solidarity. All of them coming out and just saying, listen, kind of a Dee Snider, Twisted Sister. We're not going to take your bullshit anymore. I'm all for that. But listen. Usually you don't have a group everywhere you go. Usually these encounters happen when you least expect it. And so, yeah, there might be some power in there. Well, let me rephrase that. Yes, there is power in that kind of solidarity that's happening worldwide. There's notoriety that's going, as Reed said, to the perv boys that are doing things that are non-consensual to women. But at the end of the day, man, as Regis well put, you got to be able to rock in a hard place. And, as a dad, I'm sitting there thinking, Rich, and I know you probably had these similar thoughts with your kiddos and stuff. I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? My dog thinks I'm God. Sometimes I like to think I'm God, but I'm not God, and I can't be omnipresent. And I can't protect my girls everywhere they go. So they need to know how to frickin' throw down, because there is no hashtag campaign running to their aid. The cops in the greatest kind of vehicles and weapons, and they're not addicted to donuts in the fittest shape. I'm talking about the most Rambo-like cops on the planet. They can't be there quick enough. Hannah and Regis must know how to defend themselves and/or kill some kind of pervert or some kind of murderer who tries some crap on them.
Well, there's a couple things I want to throw in there that I think are important, because sometimes we deal with a topic from one perspective and we'll leave a group of people out. So I think we need to address it like your daughters were trained from the time they were 9 years old. What do you do with somebody like my wife who's 21 plus a few years? So what do you do with someone who's already, she didn't start at 9 years old, right? And so like I went to a concealed carry class. And in the class, the guy teaches all this stuff about guns, and then he says, and I carry pepper spray.
What?
He said, he carries guns. He also carries 3 knives. He says, this guy's crazy, right? And he said, you know why I carry pepper spray? He said, because if I pepper spray the wrong person, I don't go to prison. I don't even get arrested.
Oh.
And I started thinking about that, like with my kids too. If you're already older, then what do we do? Well, one thing is, don't think I'm going to get a gun, because with no training, a gun isn't going to do anything. Don't think like Regis, and she'll talk about this, I'm sure. Don't think I'm going to go take a jiu-jitsu class and in 3 months I'm going to handle a man that outweighs me by 100 pounds, because that takes years.
Hey,
right?
Rich, but I took a Hapkido class after I watched what's that guy's name? Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
So I took a Hapkido class. I think I took 2 over the weekend. And we're playing pool down in Lubbock, Texas. This big guy, gnarly dude, all tatted up, had long hair, looked like that guy from the Frontier, Jason Mau or whatever his name is. So he beat me in a game of 8-ball, and I said, "You're lucky this time, punk." And he said, "What do you say?" And I went, "Hi-ya!" I got into one of those Hapkido poses, and I went to the hospital because I had to pull a pool cue from my backside. So you're right. You're right.
That's the point.
One lesson.
So some things are this. Some things have to be implemented in stages. And I want Regis to talk about this, problem and how to deal with the problem, but also how do you deal with it short term and then getting a long term plan. Short term might be, and they have a new mace thing out that when you flip the top on it, it lights up GPS, and when you spray the mace, it takes a photo and automatically sends it to the police department.
Yeah, but what if you're downwind of that stuff? It's like,
you get some of it.
Stop! And you get maced.
Yeah, that's cool though, because I want to do it anyway. I want to get maced.
But here's something before we get into the actual Regis answering your questions and how to take somebody like Annie who's 21
plus a couple.
And has no background. Now Annie's she's a corn-fed girl from what, Montana or Wyoming?
She's from Montana, yeah.
She can beat some ass, man. Bale of hay, pitchfork. She knows how to rock and hard.
You don't want to come in the house when she has time, because she can shoot a gun.
Right. So here's the thing that I've watched these interviews, and I've watched a lot of these hashtag Me Too girls. And again, I'm not trying to disparage those who truly went through some crap. But Pamela Anderson, she'd also concur. I'm sitting there listening to it, and it's like, so what happened to you? And she's like, well, I was invited up to, a luxury suite at the Chateau Marmont in order to meet this Crisco sweating, homunculus, toady, megalomaniacal partner in a gazillion-dollar production company so that I could get an extra role in the upcoming movie Scream 7, The Rise of the Devil. And the next thing you know, he's got his bathrobe on, and he's showing me his purple-headed yogurt thrower, and I'm just like, lady, you know how you could really avoid that kind of altercation is, number one, don't go to the luxury suite at the Chateau Marmont with the guy, you ought to Google him first, who's a known sexual predator. You
Yeah.
stupid, stupid lady. And Pamela Anderson said, she would never meet with horn dogs if she knew the reputation of the guy. And Harvey Weinstein preceded him, man. And it'd always be in public. And if she ever did go to, these out of the way locales to meet with Uncle Fester, then she would bring a guy like, Dwayne Johnson or something like that. Somebody
That'll
could
do it.
his ass. So that, to me, a lot of this stuff can be circumvented simply by having rules in place.
Yeah.
You don't have to know jujitsu. You don't have to be Bruce frickin' Lee. You don't have to be Regis Giles. You just got common sense stuff.
Be aware.
It's like,
I think number one is to be aware. What do you do? Anytime you go into a place that you're not familiar with, the first thing you need to do is familiarize yourself. You need to be aware.
Exactly.
You need to look around and you need to pay attention. I do that, and I'm a man. I go anywhere. I look around. I want to see if there's trouble there. If there's trouble there, I think about going somewhere else. I want to know where the problem places are, and I also look to see what do I do got to do to get out of here if somebody starts shooting this place up. Just be aware. And you could avoid a lot of that.
So, Regis, that's again, Regis Giles is our guest, Warriors and Wildmen jiu-jitsu expert, first black belt in the Elio Gracie Valenti world of martial arts and jiu-jitsu, world famous instructors, Pedro, Guy, and Joaquin Valenti, got the greatest school in Miami. If you're in South Florida, go there. Regis, that's our 2 cents initially. Situational awareness, is that a huge part of the training that Pedro and his brothers have taken you through?
Absolutely. I mean, the best defense is not getting in a fight, period. And
That's right.
if you can avoid getting into sticky situations, do it. Use your common sense. Trust your gut. God gifted us with certain instincts and intuitions. Say, that's probably not right. If you're using sexual privilege to advance your career, that's one thing. But to not want to be sexually harassed or raped, you don't put yourself in a hotel room alone with a known, powerful, mega Hollywood producer that is going to derobe himself and ask you to massage him. How about hell no? Screw you. I value my honor more than my career, so goodbye.
Regis, that's another one. Sorry to interrupt you, but I am your Faja. That's another one, Rich, and Regis,
story of my life.
That just blows me away. It's like, well, I shined his apple because if I did, I would get, the lead role in frickin' Sense or Sensibility. It's like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, Rich, I would work if I was a girl and I had aspirations to be a movie star or a ballerina or something like that, and it entailed, me shining the apple on some dude like Harvey Weinstein, or I'm not going to get, past the velvet rope. You know what? I'm frickin' working at Bloomingdale's because that's bullshit.
And the other thing about these women who are trying to advance their careers through sexual favors, they're making this kind of environment, this kind of behavior acceptable. And that is another problem. Like,
so you're saying it's their fault and they're training the dog to be the dog.
But then we have to flip it. What do we do with the girls who aren't asking for it? What do we do with the girl in the workplace?
Rich, let Regis go down this road. Talk to us about the girls who are training the dogs to be dogs.
Well, it number one comes down to your self-respect and your virtue. And if you consider yourself someone of high virtue and you think you should be respected, like the feminists like to tout, even though they march down streets with their breasts hanging out and, it's like, how are you going to gain respect by flaunting your tits?
Their hideous breasts hanging out, yeah. I might add.
And blubber guts. But anyways, that kind of mentality, that kind of, hey, I'm going to give you this if you give me this. That is training the dog. Like my dad said, it's not allowing women who do respect themselves to actually advance in careers. It makes it a lot harder for them, unfortunately. But for those women who don't want that encounter, who don't want some guy to, stick their camera up their skirt or grab them in an inappropriate way. I mean, luckily your wife, Rich, was aware of her surroundings and she was able to feel like something's wrong here. Unfortunately, he did violate her with a camera, but he didn't violate her physically because she was aware of his presence.
But one of the things is she was really upset because if you haven't been trained for something like that, it catches you off guard.
Yeah.
And she had like a frozen moment and a little bit of panic. And so we're putting some things in place to handle that. Because even her, she's a very strong, physically strong person, but had never been in a situation like that. And so there's a without training, it's like if you ever go box for the first time, you're like, all right, I'm going to box, and somebody jabs you hard in the face. Yeah. You go, hold on a second.
Whoa.
That's not at all what I was picturing me hitting the other person,
Right. And then you got to go 4 rounds, and boy, the gloves get heavy on that 4th round, bro.
They're heavy on the way to the ring.
If you exchange blows, you have to get ready to receive some too. Yeah. And the thing, this moment for your wife is the wake up moment, the revelation moment, I would say.
Right.
And her feeling powerless at one moment. And with that, you use it to motivate yourself to learn how to defend yourself, like you guys are going with. And yes, use the initial methods with the pepper spray, the taser. Definitely learn how to be lethal with a firearm, because that is the easiest and most lethal way to handle any perpetrator. But a lot of situations don't require lethal action. Try and justify lethal action towards that guy who, took the picture of Annie.
Right. That'd be difficult.
It would be very difficult to justify that in a court of law. But, if she knew jiu-jitsu and elbowed him in the face or choked him out, broke a couple limbs, that's justifiable.
Yeah.
So
that's the kind of headline, and this has been a big talking point for me when I wrote Raising Righteous and Rowdy Girls. Big talking point for Hen and Regis is that we want the headlines to read, instead of like, hey, Harvey Weinstein molested 30 girls, or Matt Lauer. We got a post on Clash Daily that we're about to put up from the Village Voice of all the stuff that Lauer did. It's unbelievable. And then you got this whole group of victimized girls and hashtagging. And again, I'm not disparaging it, but oh my God, Rich, wouldn't it be delightful to see a headline that says, hey, Harvey Weinstein tried that crap again, and a girl shot and killed him.
Well, that happened here. You know what? That happened right here in Phoenix. There was a girl getting gas. There's a video of it. You can see it on YouTube. I think she's 23 years old. She's getting gas 3 o'clock in the morning. She's putting gas in the car. A gangster comes up, puts a gun to her head. She turns. It looks like she's going to get her purse or whatever he's robbing her.
Yeah.
Dude, she quick draws and puts 3 in this dude's chest.
Boom.
It's a wrap. 23 years old. Dude, she's been training dude, to pull a gun that fast, that close, that's not an accident. That's not, I bought a pink gun and put it in my purse. She was carrying right in her abdomen and just whooped it out and hammered that dude. It's on video.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And of course, that doesn't get any attention.
Yeah, of course not. But that should be, to me, that's the dream. Not killing people, but the bad guy. And listen,
the bad guy's the one that gets violated.
It gets incapacitated, or he gets killed.
Not violated.
He gets immediate justice. That's what happens.
Hey, Regis, can I tell the story about when we were in Vegas and that guy came put his arm around you?
Yes.
We were in Vegas at the Safari convention, and afterwards we were hanging out, and I was there with Doug and Regis, and I don't know, there's a group of 10 people or so, Doug? We were
Yeah.
just sitting there talking, and this guy walks up with a fur coat, no shirt on, bald head, and puts his arm around Regis. And as soon as he does, I turn and I look at this guy because I'm thinking this dude is getting ready to get the five knuckle shuffle. And when I do, I look and Regis looks at me and smiles and shakes her head. No, don't worry about it. I got it under control. And I thought that's good stuff. You know, she's not worried. And the guy actually, he was just out having fun with his friends, and he wasn't disrespectful to you at all, right? He was nice, and he walked away. But she wouldn't have been using jujitsu that day because I'd have punched that guy so hard he'd have forgot his name.
Bro, I can't even hug Reed. She was over the other day for for Thanksgiving or something, and and I'm like, "Hey, Reed, how you doing?" And I could feel her about to leg sweep me and do some kind of Kato Green Hornet type Pink Panther. Remember that guy in Pink Panther that always follow him around, beat the crap out of him, come out of nowhere.
I'm always ready for him to put me in a headlock.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good to have the training and to be confident and aware of what's going on.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the goal.
To feel the situation. It's the intuition part that has to come in, and the confidence that you gain from the training that you do allows you to assess those situations. Don't allow them to accelerate,
Right.
unexpectedly. Be aware of your surroundings, be prepared, be emotionally stable by all means, because if you're emotional, you get angry or you're afraid in that moment, you're not responding in a clear mindset, and you won't be able to defend yourself properly.
But I think you also realized quickly in that situation, that guy wasn't trying to dominate you. He was being funny. He was just being a goofy guy and
drunk guy
whatever.
at a bar.
But that's good. You recognize that right away.
And he didn't violate me. He was just, being friendly, and that's fine.
See, that's another thing that's kind of driving me nuts. Like, I'm afraid to tell a woman who doesn't have my last name that she looks nice. I'm afraid to hug her. I'm like walking around like a soccer player, not using my hands, not doing anything, staying 3 feet off.
And this is my theory.
That's just freaking ridiculous. I don't want to live in that kind of. I'm a Texan, and it's like, howdy, ma'am. It's like, hey, darling, you look beautiful today. That's just how we roll. And now all of a sudden, like, that's sexual predation. I was watching. Who's that guy from Maroon 5? Adam. What's his name, Reed?
Levine.
Adam Levine. So Adam Levine, there's a 16-year-old girl on The Voice. He said, before I critique your music today, which was amazing, he said, I'm telling you right now, you look beautiful. You look amazing. Now, in today's hypersensitive hashtag world of social justice freaks on Facebook, that's sexual molestation. That's innuendo, I'm telling you, it's getting kooky.
This is my theory. If women learned how to defend themselves, if they were secure in themselves, they would not feel that, hey, you look beautiful is sexual harassment, because they're confident in themselves, in their ability to protect and defend. They wouldn't feel that that's sexual harassment. Because they know if a man continues to move forward with that and tries to, grab them or hug them really awkwardly for a too long of a time period, that they can.
What is the time period
address
for
that?
It depends on who it is.
It really
It
does.
depends on who it is, where they are, how they're hugging you. There's a whole list of things.
I
remember in
the
evangelical
intuition
circles,
side
we got the tutorial of pastors on how to hug. Got to do a side hug, never front, front hug for over a 3 count. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna fist bump and screw all you guys.
You know what I decided? I decided I'm going to be a person. Right. I am, because my friends that are in the church, my friends that are outside the church, my friends in the church that I've known for years hug me from the side. And then people that I just met that are normal people, they meet you and they hug you and they're like, hey, nice to meet you. And I'm like, you know what? Why are you better at being people than we are? Yeah. You know why? Because they're not so hypersexualized on everything. They're trying to have sex with you, they're meeting you, but Christians are so busy trying not to have sex that it's like, if you touch me, oh God, my fire's going on, I'll go crazy, You can't hug me, It's like, I can hug you.
Hey, we
Speaking
got
of awkward hugs, there is a move in our jujitsu curriculum where you can, if someone you don't know who's hugging you and you get a weird vibe from them, you hug them in a way that you can immediately defend yourself.
Yeah.
And it creates a space and a barrier for you. So there's a lot of like common sense little moves, self-defense moves that are very easy to train
Yeah, like pivoting and throwing a
immediately.
wicked left hook to the liver.
Well, that too. But if
Oh,
you know,
something probably
if you
less.
hug them, with your arm across their body, to that other opposite shoulder, you can easily frame up and push them away and get out of their
That's good.
grip. And and again, it's not
I don't like
enticing
hugging
to
women.
fight.
I don't
It's
like hugging women because they assault me. Because I'm short, and when I hug them, they always hit me right in the throat with their shoulder. I'm like, are you trying to kill me? Is that a trained move, or are you just that lethal, or
You could
I'm
use
the
this
wrong
method,
height? I
just
don't know,
like
man.
pat them on the shoulder.
I'm gonna hug them like this with throat protector or something. I don't
here's
know.
here's something that and Reed, we encountered this at a Purple Heart event, a hunt that we did in Eden, Texas, with our good buddy Phil Mason. Guys say, "Oh, you can't defend yourself. If I really want you, if I really want to rape and or kill you, or some other version of molestation, there's basically shit all a girl can do to a guy who wants to have his way." What do you say to that?
Bullshit.
See,
I
Reg,
think if a woman, sorry.
that's proof that Regis is my daughter.
Yep, there it is.
I mean, I think that jujitsu is a magnificent way to train a woman how to defend her life because it doesn't use strength; it uses leverage, and it's a smart way to defend yourself. It's
And it was
not
designed for a smaller, weaker opponent to defend
exactly.
and attack a larger, stronger opponent. It was actually designed to do that, right?
Exactly. And again, it's leverage over brute strength. So I can easily pick up a man who's 200 pounds heavier than me. And
I watched her do it when she was like 12 or 13 to this poor dumbass, like 6 foot tall 15-year-old kid that was a little chunky rich. And I hadn't seen Regis fight, and it's like, "Hey, you want to come to one of their matches or whatever?" I was like, "Sure, I'm not smoking cigars or laying out on the beach today. I'll go and see what I've been shelling out all my hard-earned cash for." And little Regis is there with her blonde curly hair, and again, there's this big dude. Reed, you remember what I'm talking about?
yes, I do.
And I was like, "Holy crap, man! That guy's a freaking monster!" And so they blew the whistle or went hi and gave the signal to go or however they do it. Regis runs right up to him, grabs his gi, falls on her back, kicks that poor kid up in the air, and he just lands on his back. And I'm just like, OMG, money well spent. Hey, there's another time that Rich, this guy at our church in Miami, smart ass dude, he goes, "Oh, so you know jujitsu. What would you do if I did this?" And he throws a punch at her, and Regis puts this 40-year-old man who's in decent shape just flat on his back in front of everybody. It was hilarious. All right,
awesome.
so quickly, let's do something before we wrap this bad boy. And thanks for giving us your time, Reg, and your expertise. And by the way, towards Wildmen listeners, she's going to be creating seminars here in Austin area. She's going to be traveling to churches and other events and stuff, and just breaking down what Rich said, just simple, avoidance holds and techniques. It's not going to be the end all, but it's definitely going to be a conversation starter.
Yeah, you won't get your black belt at the end, but it's the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah, you will definitely be able to, God willing,
usable techniques if you have to.
But here's something that I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, Rich, believe it or not, and Regis can attest to them. But here's the one thing, aside from bringing them up in the fear and the admonition of the Lord, here's one of the things that we absolutely just batted 1,000 on, is that we got them into martial arts at an early age. Yes, you can get into it at any age, but man, Reg, when you're young, these moves become second nature. They become a part of you. The disciplines that the Valenti brothers had and the values that they had greatly overlapped our values, and they trained them to fight. What age would you tell the young parents to get their kids into jujitsu, which is our favorite form of martial arts? What age is right for the young parents that are listening right now?
I it really depends on the family, but if I could have started at 3 years old, I wish my family would have enrolled me. Honestly, though, jujitsu is something that any age someone can jump into. We've had people who are 76 walk into our academies with like achy hips and bad knees and are able to actually
My knee got fixed in jiu-jitsu.
complete the self-defense courses and spar. And I've trained with these people myself, and it's astonishing to me to see that how effective these moves work for an elderly person who's not completely mobile like a young spry like my dad and Rich.
Well, hey, Rich. You and I and everybody and their dog knows that bullying's an au courant topic. It's a big deal.
Yeah, but it's one of my pastimes, so I'm not going to let it go real soon.
So, to me, as again, like if I was just starting off, and I've got two grandkids. Hamish is already training jujitsu.
There you go.
He's what, 2.5 or 8, something like that.
Almost
and
3. Yeah.
Almost 3 years old. I guarantee by the time he's 6, I don't know how big he's going to get. I don't know if he's going to be, frickin' Dolph Lundgren type size of a cat. But I guarantee, OMG, man, he's going to be a scrappy little hombre to anybody who picks some shit with him.
One of the things, absolutely, and that's like you said, starting them young. And they in MMA, the trio, the things that you want to train in: wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. Some people will do wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing. But if you put those 3 things together, you're a dangerous person. You're a wickedly dangerous person. Because if you add striking, because a lot of the guys that you see, some of the guys, especially from Brazil, some of the guys have become excellent Muay Thai fighters, and they try to stay standing up because it's taking less energy than an aggressive on top game. So a lot of guys are striking when they can, and if they can't, next thing you know, you're hauling them around like a backpack, and they're choking you out. But something else I want to bring up too, because a lot of Christians that might be listening to this, they hear martial arts and they automatically think, Eastern religions, and we're going to channel demons and all that, which some of that's legit. But Brazilian jiu-jitsu was modified, and the Gracies, they're Catholic. So there's there's no ancestry worship. There's nothing, we're not channeling spirits or anything like that.
Let me go first, Reg. As a parent, I still got age and
seniority before beauty, I guess.
Yes. Age and treachery over youth and zeal. Anyway, Rich, you made me lose my train of thought, Reg, with your rebellious, interrupting attitude. What were we talking about, man?
Gracie, Catholicism.
Oh, there we go.
Religion.
So, Rich, at this time when they were just starting, I was a pastor, and I wouldn't. Listen, I'm a stickler, and I have, I don't want, sending my kids off to some place that worship idols like the public school system. And what I found in Pedro and Guy and Joaquin, I didn't even ask them, hey, are you believers? I saw these were serious gentlemen, My wife and I, read up on them. They didn't come home with some kind of secret, religious symbols, anything like that. And I was so comfortable and so pleased that their values were so in line with our values. And we weren't talking about angels or the veracity of the scripture or anything like that. I just saw that they were gentlemen, and they were high level, top shelf, high quality, as Bobby Boucher would say, H2O, man. And so no matter what the discipline is, check out the individuals that are leading the various schools, because we have
Yeah.
run into some guys that are nothing but ragweed. They're disgusting human beings. So it's really important. Just like any place that you hand your kids off to, you want to do your due diligence and constantly keep a watchful eye until they absolutely earn your trust. No matter what school it is.
That's good.
And yes, so there, the 5 elements of the Jiu-Jitsu Academy that I come from. We have self-defense, we have throwing techniques, we have striking, we have grappling, and our philosophy. And the philosophy includes a warrior code, 5 pillars for personal health, and 3 states of mind for the warrior to fully adapt to a warrior lifestyle. Whether it be on the tatami training or off the tatami when you're in day-to-day life and personal relationships. And so it's, in a way, a full spectrum martial arts from the curriculum that we train with. Like you were saying, Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters learn those 2 different sets. It's fully acknowledged that if you can strike your way out of a fight, that's great. If you can, if it has to go down to the floor, then you're covered too. If you just need to defend yourself and get out of the situation, do it. The best thing to do is to have all your bases covered.
Yeah.
That's what we like to do.
Hey, Regis, before we leave, 30-second exhortation to the Warriors and Wildmen listener.
What does that mean? What do you...
Tell them what you want them to do. What should we do? Tell us, sum it up.
Yeah, what's the actionable item?
Actionable items, ladies, gents who have ladies in their lives. Number 1, get them to start training, because just talking about this isn't enough. You need to actually get involved, do things to make sure that you yourself or the woman in your life is protected. Explore all different weapon types. Get the one that you're most comfortable with handling, because if you're not comfortable with a gun, then it's going to somehow be used against you. So use the weapon you like. Learn hand-to-hand combat, absolutely. And, go to girlsjustwannahaveguns.com. We will get some seminars set up for you so you can sign up and you can train and learn some of the most basic self-defense moves that you can practice by yourself or with a friend, that should help you get away from anyone who's trying to grab you and do some real harm to you.
Regis, what's your email if girls or parents want to get a hold of you and they want your goods, services, and merchandise going forward to help them prepare their kids for this can be cold and cruel world?
If you go to girlsjustwannahaveguns.com through the contact us form, that goes directly to me, and I will be able to ask and answer any of your questions that you ask. So,
thank you, Rach, for being on Warriors and Wildmen.
Thanks, Rach.
Thank you.
Rich, 30-second rant. What do you got to say, big dog?
My 30-second rant is this. First thing we want to do is be wise, be aware. Teach your daughters, teach your wives, friends, wives as in different people.
Unless you're part of the
unless you're Mormon, then whatevs. Do what you gotta do, right?
Saints.
Yeah. So, but then you have them in the compound. You don't have to worry about it. But teach them to be aware, first of all. And the second idea is to really get out of any situation that you find yourself in. If you can get away before anything happens. After that, if you engage, you have to understand that the first thing you need to do is attack. It's not getting away. If you're engaged, that's what eyes are for. Rip those eyes out. If they're trying to rape you, whatever they're doing, get you an eyeball. Take it with you. There is DNA in that eyeball. We will find them. Get you an eye. Bite a hole in their face. Bite a cartoon character out of the side of their cheek. Get aggressive. And so that's a mindset.
Rich, what about this? Say a guy, you're in some place, and next thing you know, he's dropped his pants and he's showing you the trouser trout, and you're like, hey, why don't you close your eyes? I got a surprise for you. And while he's fantasizing, the girl could pull out that long mascara pencil and then stab him right in the twigs and berries.
Or, in Arizona, we
That's
carry
creative.
automatic knives, and you could say, oh yeah, close your eyes, and then swing.
Yeah, Lorraine Bob.
And then Jeb's a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Lorraine Bobbitt. Boom, just like that. But I think we need to be smart, and we need to get a plan. Look, if you don't have a plan, you'll be like the situation that my wife is in, which I take responsibility for. I should have prepared her for something like that. And because those things that can happen, it's my responsibility. We're having those discussions, and we're starting from point A, but we have some goals that we want to accomplish that are realistic for our situation. I think that's what people need to do. You cannot just sit back and do nothing. You have to get a plan, because I can't always be there. Because if I would have been there, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But guess what? I'm not with her 24/7.
You probably
that's right. I love cells and cell groups, so I'd be good to go. And but the reality is, I'd like to be with her 24/7, but I can't. And so I want to help her. And so we're starting that process. So I want to encourage people really to do some research and get involved, and either contact Regis or a local jiu-jitsu gym and get a plan. Got to get a plan.
Regis, I have a dream. I have a dream where millions of girls no longer are part of some kind of hashtag victimology, where they have the ability to discern the situation, where they walk into an environment like Regis said, like you said in a very articulate, fine, Rich Whitmer fashion, where they assess the situation, that they see potential threats, that they place themselves by exits, that they keep their backs to the wall, that they judge everybody and their dog who walks through the place, that they look cool and have a smile on their face, and plan to kill everybody in the room if necessary. Girls, you got to up your level of discernment. Your BS detector has to be finely tuned. And like I said, your head's got to, and it's unfortunate, but man, this is the violent world that we're living in right now. And, again, just to underscore Regis's point, learn how to fight, learn as soon as possible. It's never too old to get into the arena, and you'll feel better. Maybe forego some piano lessons. Maybe, not play a certain sport or an instrument for a while, and really learn how to defend your life. Listen, God gave you that life. I believe in my weird book that the good guy and the good girl should live, and the bad guy and the bad girl, whoever does evil, that they should die. And young parents, listen, you will owe me big time for the peace and the repose and the satisfaction when your kids are like in their teen years, where when the crap really starts getting ugly around them, that you had your kids training jujitsu or various martial arts, for the previous 10 years. It is peace of mind. It is insurance in the bank. Rich, what do the Warriors and Wildmen listeners need to do?
Go to the Warriors and Wildmen podcast. Need to subscribe. Then you need to rate it, review it, leave us a comment, argue with us, tell us we're gay. They tried that. We roasted that guy and he quit. Whatever you want to do, man, say something. Hey, we don't care if you hate us. We don't care if you love us. Just don't tolerate us, man. Don't be neutral. Come in there, high speed all the way. Warriors and Wildmen.